Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue with part 2. So we'd like to continue modeling our BMW M2, and essentially we're just going to pick up from where we left off. Okay, let us continue, right? So we want to continue working on the door. So we've got to highlight these vertices. Let's turn on screencast keys. Can never forget that one. Get these vertices highlighted. Then we can duplicate these, of course, drag them back a little bit, separate these. And this will be a good time for us to get our references. We're going to delete these two vertices. So based on the references, this is a crease we really want to get correct. And then there's another crease right there as the door dips. Then we get closer to the side skirts. So this crease right here, very important. This is also very important. And then there's a crease around here. If you look from the side, it's just a little bit below halfway from where the wheelbase is. So a little bit lower than this actually. Possibly somewhere down there like that. May need to adjust this as well. Just so we can keep this cohesive. I want to keep it flat for now. Even though it's not really flat, actually you can go ahead and straight away basically just start to adjust it. And let's view this from this angle. So these need to be adjusted. Well, primarily this one. And you can see this one is dipped within the door, which is good, as it should be. Let's view this from this angle. And now by the side skirts. So same thing with this one. We want this to be down there. That way we can extrude this pretty much where the side skirt is. And as you can see, that's even further within. So this need to be further within like that. If anything, we probably want to flatten this like this. So basically both of these need to be further within like that. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to carry this in like that. Probably same thing with this area right there. Well, no, actually that is the side skirt. So that's important to pay attention to. Might as well we start making a cut right around there. Which is exactly what I was thinking, was that we probably want to level this out. You can see there needs to be a cut right around there. So let's flatten this. Let's carry this down slightly. View this one right there. Needs to be further down, I'd say, like that. It's not too bad, but needs to be rotated on the active element like that. And we want to rotate this on the x-axis. As you can see right there, rotated on the x-axis is sort of pointing down slightly like that. That's a lot better. And I'd say then adjust these ones as well. So I'd say we need to separate this. That's good. There needs to be another crease around there. This one also needs to be pivoted down like that. I think perhaps the same with these ones right here. Need to be pivoted down like that. Not by much, but as you can see, just around there. Might have to do something about this area eventually. Sort of like just edge it back in slightly like that. May have to adjust this area slightly. And something else with these vertices is that they need to be raised. This entire area needs to be slightly raised. It's a little bit too dipped for my liking. It's not supposed to be that hidden in the bodywork per se, especially those areas right here. Raise this one as well like that, and I'd say raise these ones as well like this. Just a few adjustments. You can look at it in the render view. This is what it would look like. That's a lot better. Honestly, I love this car in gray. The various grays out there, So we do want to separate the door as well. Well, actually, before I separate that, before we separate that, let's, why don't we start working on this area? You can see even from the edge, there's this nice, while this line may look straight, it's a smooth, elegant swoosh. And believe it or not, I wish if there is a better way to describe that, but perhaps there isn't. We're going to fill this area as well. Add a loop right there. Well, just a vertice. Carry this one back. Join those. Add one right there. Carry it back. Carry it up. Join those. Carry it up a little bit more. Shade smooth. And we can turn off the wireframe for now. Fill this area. Add a loop cut around there. We need another loop cut around there. And you can see there's this cut right here. This area may pose some challenges, but I'm not too worried about it for now. Let's flatten this one right there. So somewhere around here, somewhere in the center, this needs to be edged out. Pretty much like that, actually. Now, as for these ones, shouldn't those be relatively flat on the z-axis like that? Kind of like that, yeah. Theoretically, it would look a little something like this. Theoretically, of course. Now, as for this design, we don't have to keep this design as it is, to be honest. You know, there's various ways we could try to accomplish this. I'm no expert in this, actually. And I get more questions from people asking, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? I think people overestimate my ability in this. Like, if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm not very good at this. This lesson is actually practice for me to get better. Like, I don't proclaim to be an expert. Absolutely not. Like, this is all practice for me, learning. I am no expert. Like, I'm literally learning as we go, just like everyone else, really. I'm gonna flatten this, flatten that, carry this up, carry this up, or rather, we can carry these ones down like this. And to be honest, that doesn't look too bad, especially once we put loop cut right there. I mean, from this angle, because it's not perfectly symmetrical right there, from this angle it does look a little bit off. Perhaps we ought to adjust it. And as for these ones right here, kind of want to flatten those like that. And adjust this one like this. Adjust that one as well like that. But yeah, that's not going to look perfect for a while. That's all right. Let us... so this area is quite intricate because it's sort of like one thing. But before we can get to that area, we may want to consider adding another loop cut around there. Or we can adjust this area right here, like that. And adjust it like this. And adjust this like that. Adjust this as well. Probably adjust that one as well. And as for this area, needs to be a little bit more round. It looks a bit too flat. So this entire area is actually a little bit edged out. Perhaps we try flattening it on medium point, perhaps not. But you can see even on the blueprint, it's bulged out like that. That's more like it. And adjust this area right there, crucial area. But also this is a crucial area as well. These need to be flat like that. I hope I don't end up regretting this. It is flattened now, but this area still feels indented, which essentially let us know that something went wrong. One thing we could do is have it at an angle like this instead of having it flat. But even that would look a little bit out of place. So we'll keep working on that area and we'll keep it in mind just so we don't mess anything up. Okay, now on to some more interesting area. Going to adjust this slightly. We're going to duplicate this, carry it back slightly, P to separate. And we're going to extrude this area right there. And extrude these areas right there. I'm going to add a loop cut right there, flatten it on the Y and carry it up slightly like this. Because at this point, this is where it will start to bend. And to be honest, this is one of those areas we really got to get right, because it's not simple. So this area is flat, but as soon as it gets around there, it bulges out. And it's this area that bulges out mostly. It's where the wheelbase covers. So to help us out with that, we can start by designing that straight away. Let's add a new mesh, a circle. 16 vertices should do. Let's align it to view. Let's tab in, select all, scale it down, carry it towards the rear, scale it down some more. Don't want to scale it down too much. View it from the top, edge it out slightly, like this. View it from the front. And as you can see, I think we used around 16 vertices on the other side as well. So it should work out fine. We can subdivide this by 2. We could then delete these vertices, carry this one up, carry this one up also. Could then relax those. Let's get active element. Let's extrude this forward like this. Scale it down on the Z, scale it back on the Y. And carry this one down slightly. And relax those. And relax those. That's good. Okay, then get to an interesting part where it needs to be rotated on the y-axis like this and edge in. Yeah, I don't want people to think that I'm an expert at this. I'm really not. There is so many fundamentals that I haven't learned. In fact, I've only done one vehicle designing course fully about Blender. So there's a lot of things that I skipped when it comes to designing vehicles in Blender. Truthfully, there's a whole lot of stuff I skipped. Designing this area will be a little bit difficult. I don't even want to start. But most of it, like the rear end, you can see this is sort of like smooth. It's a smooth transition. But I'm thinking we're going to have to use almost like design this flat area first, then design this area to sort of bulge it out a little bit. That's not going to be easy, but could design this area as well, because this area looks relatively flat somewhat. And this area we may need to could start designing this area as well. And due to that, we may hide the front of the vehicle initially. And it's important that we get these areas right. Oh yeah, because this area is not even accurate as of yet. You can see it needs to be all the way over there. This needs to be over there as well. This needs to be in like that. And this area is further down there, right where that cut is. But of course, from the rear, it is bezel. It is bezel from the rear, so I'm not going to worry about it too much per se. But I'm just going to be aware that it's still got some work to do on that side. I'm going to adjust these areas like this. Even the bezel right there is not flat. So like this area is not supposed to be flat compared to this area, believe it or not. So these ones may actually need to carry them in slightly, while this area may need to be edged out slightly. Similar to that. Very, very similar. Let's carry this area in like this. You can see this area bezeled right there. So we can extrude another vertex like this. Edge these areas out like that. May have to edge these areas out like this. But from the side, even from the side, it's noticeable that it's bezeled. So we just need to adjust them slightly like this. This area, just carry it back like this. Oh yeah. And this area needs to be edged out like that. That's better. Now let's save this as a new file. We may need to adjust the Face orientation, yep, just set the normals. Probably be a good time to change the mat cap once again. May need to adjust these ones slightly, like this. At which point we will then start designing this area. Might as well. Carry this up, extrude this again, like this. Let's adjust these on the x-axis slightly. Probably adjust this one on the x-axis as well. Viewing it from the top will also be very helpful. Carry it forward slightly, carry it in. Add another vertex right there. We'll start creating a little edge right there, and we can actually relax this slightly. I'd say then edge this one out like that, and add a loop right there. Edge this one out like this. Okay. This is good. This is good. Edge this up. And you can see this area. Looks good from the rear. Even looks good from the top, but it doesn't look good from this angle. We can't adjust it on the, or we don't really want to adjust it too much from the z-axis. Could, but I'd say that's okay for now. We could then extrude a few more vertices like this. Add a loop right there. Add a loop right there. Extrude another one right there, just like that. Now we have to adjust those as well. So we'll adjust those in like this. Adjust these ones as well. Adjust those ones as well. And adjust these ones as well. That's good. And you know, ironically, one of the reasons I model this way most of the time is because this is the method I learned from the first course. No, it wasn't a course. It was a YouTube video. It was a free YouTube video on designing Porsche. So basically, it was a course. And this is how it taught. And I found it really, really good. Really, really useful, actually. So since then, especially sculpting vehicles, I've seen many people use various different ways to, I said sculpt, but I meant model. I've seen people using many different ways to model vehicles. And I have been recommended a few different methods that I should try, but to be honest, I haven't found anything that I'm happy with just yet. Now with these ones, we could start merging those or joining those if we wanted to. We don't have to, but we could start. I'm just concerned about this area, so I'd say we continue working on it. Notice this this crease right there, this tiny little crease continues and stops around here. So if we're extruding like this, probably going to need another loop cut right there. Probably going to need to join them like that. So we can join those ones like this. Can shade smooth once again. It's around this stage that it starts to edge out quite a bit. You can save this once again. And if you don't want to mess this up, you can always duplicate these and add them to your spare folder. So if you make a mistake, you can always come back and adjust things. We can join these around now actually. We can add a loop right there. We can join those. We can dissolve this area. We can dissolve that area. That's looking terrible. But we can relax those. Or we can find another solution. Hasn't appeared to me yet, but we could find another solution. We're going to make a cut right there anyway, so yeah, that'll be okay. But as for this area, there's an obvious cut right there naturally. So flatten this like that on the z-axis like this. Probably rotate it slightly actually. I'd say then flatten this as well on the z-axis. This one, we can carry this one forward slightly. We can adjust this like that. This is also edged up slightly, but it's really not too much. Sort of like that. Sort of like this, which means we may need to adjust this as well. Which means we may need to also adjust this. And around this area is where it sort of relax out. Edge this one up as well. Flatten this on the Y like that. this area is tricky to get right. And I remember modeling this on the first M2, and it was like, yeah, this area can be a little bit tricky. I think I'm going to dissolve this one. Well, actually, not yet. Let's just move this one right there, rotate this slightly like that. That's good. Then we can join those. Then I can adjust this one like this, a little bit more. Then we can rotate this one like that. At that point, then we can relax those. And relax those as well. Could carry them up slightly. Could scale it out slightly. Could carry it back slightly. Select active element right there. Carry this one back. Carry this one down. Carry it forwards. Probably relax those again. Relax those again. Well, don't want to be relaxing this too much because it's supposed to be around there. Keep this one around here. Carry this one back like that. So if we relax it only once, perhaps, may just help. Or just adjust this one right there. That's pretty good. Okay. Gonna add a loop cut in there. Gonna extrude this one in like this. Add a couple of loop cuts around there. Start getting that work done. And so you can clearly see there's like a bezel in there. There's like a bezel in there. But I really don't know how to describe it. That's the thing. So imagine if we extrude this, carry it forward, scale it back on the Y slightly, then scale it down slightly, and then edge it out slightly like that. And at that point, we can probably start thinking about, well, let's scale it up an active element like this a little bit. Let's move those up an active element slightly. Let's flatten this on the Z-axis. Carry this down, rotate it on the Z-axis. And like I said, this is a completely, the side skirt is separated from the body panel right there. So it's really this group that I'm trying to connect to. And I'd say fill this area right here. And I would say fill this area right there. Well, actually, fill this area, I'd say. So got some work to do to smoothen this out naturally. Let's add a loop right there. Well, actually, before we do that, let's think about this. Let's fill this area. And we don't need that at the moment. But I'm going to fill this area. And perhaps join this area. Start thinking about this area like what we do need. It's kind of like that. And then it's kind of like a little bezel right there. Let's add another vertex right there and join those. Yeah, it's kind of like this. And fill this area. And we'll probably carry this area up. Sort of simplify it. Now at the moment it's probably a little bit too simplify, but I'd rather it be like that for now than anything else. Well, this area looks critical, so we may find a way to join those. And we may join these as well. May join those as well. How about this one? Do we need this one? Perhaps not. Let's add a vertex right there and merge those. So it's all one thing like that. Probably need a line right there. Probably need to edge this one out slightly like this. Now, how do we get clean topology from this? Because it does look a little bit messy if I'm being honest. So do we do this? Not really. You can clearly see that would be an abomination. Do we dissolve this? Possibly. But if we dissolve that, then it's like there's nothing right there where there really should be something. So may have to add another vertex right there, like I was saying earlier, and join those. Adjust this area like that. Adjust that area like this. And let's see if we can adjust this area, probably manually for now. Add another loop right there and join those. As you can see, it doesn't quite have the effect that I'm trying to get. Although that does look sick, accidentally, if I might add. But as you can see, it's not quite what we want. And this doesn't have much of an effect, if any. And adjust this area right here. This seems to be the better option, if I'm being honest. But we need to clearly distinct it from this area. We need a clear distinction. So this needs to be a lot sharper. Add a couple more vertices right there. But also this right here. This sort of starts a lot further down. So it's like dissolve this area right there. It's kind of like that. Can we join those? Dissolve this one. Perhaps adjust this like that. Try to adjust those like this. This needs to be edged out like this. This also needs to be edged out slightly. So too right there. Carry these ones down slightly. Carry those ones down slightly. Probably adjust this one as well. I wonder if we should just merge those areas right there. Around this area, it actually is quite smooth. So we could merge those because it does begin to smooth out. I'll adjust those on active. Well, on last selected. As for this area, can probably relax it for now. It really does add a nice distinction. As you can see, this area may need to add another vertex right there if we really want that distinction carried through there. Let's go back to studio mode. And we may need to, well, actually, forget about studio mode. We can stay on matcap mode, but I will increase the opacity for a moment. Let's just look at that right there. So this needs to be raised. This needs to be raised. Looks like a lot of these need to be raised like this. This needs to be adjusted. This needs to be raised like that. I'd say raise this one as well. Raise that one as well. Raise that one as well. Raise these ones as well. I'd say raise these ones as well. Then raise those ones as well. So too with these ones. Looks a little bit better, but still this area looks a little bit too forced. Is it this area that needs to be reduced slightly? Speaking of which, these can probably be adjusted. Can probably flatten this on the Y. Flatten this on the Y as well. Give these some spacing. Can probably carry this down slightly. Yeah, that area has always eluded me. However, I'm going to add a mirror modifier right there and set all transform, because we're going to continue to adjust this area as we go forward. To be honest, this doesn't look too bad, but it's still not perfect, you know. It's just like, do we need to add a crease right there? I don't know what it is, but it's bugging me. It's bugging me, you know, like there's something there that just won't allow me to... What is this? Let's just delete this for a moment. Let's join those. Use a knife tool. Delete this. Let's adjust this right here. Keep in mind we did have to bezel this to get that little bulge right there. But still, it looks so uncommon, you know. Should we join those? Should we lower these? Should we join those? Adjust those ones. I feel like the closest that we've gotten is something along these lines. But even this is not perfect. Even this requires something like this. Let's edge this out slightly like that. Let's carry this down. Carry this down as well. Adjust these ones. There's something like this. Try relaxing these ones. Nope, that doesn't work. How about there? How about changing it to median point? Doesn't want us to adjust this area. Not really. How about this area? How about that area? That's actually a little bit better. That is actually a little bit better. And adjust this like that. And adjust this as well like this. And adjust this like that. Carry this one back like this. I mean, it works, but it looks a bit like a mad design. Like a design that's a little bit far from finish. Should we flatten this on the X and then rotate it on the Y? Maybe not. But there is something about this area that I'm just not liking. Do we need to edge this out like this? View it from the top once again. Let's edge it in slightly like that. Let's edge those one out like this. Let's edge those one out like that. Let's edge these one out like this. And edge these one out like that. Nope. Clearly did not like that. Can you see right there? That's that it did not like at all. It's almost like we did the opposite of what we're supposed to do. That's a little bit better. Edge this one out slightly. Although this area is where things start to relax. Let's carry this one down there. Let's carry this one down there. Carry this one there. We may join those at center like that. We may adjust this one as well like this. Adjust this one as well like that. And all of this really means we may need to do this all again like this area to get this area flat. Or we could just relax this. Doesn't solve it. That is a little bit better. Let's adjust this like that. Carry it back. Let's carry this one like this. Carry this one back once again like that. Let's carry this one in like this. Carry this one out like that. Carry this one up like this. As you can see around the rear end right there, that is very prominent. It's almost too prominent. Like, gotta be honest, this area, and a lot of this, like, a lot of this other work I will do off screen because it will take so long to get perfect. I'll have to do it off screen, but I'm going to relax those. I'm going to relax these as well. And I'd like to relax these as well. Like this. And we'll probably use active element and scale this down. Edge this one out like this. Edge this one out like that. That's good. Let's turn down the opacity. Okay, that part is fucked. So let's dissolve this area, because I can't even stand to look at that. Anyway, this area right here, gonna separate. We can add a loop cut down there. We could add a loop cut there. We could add a loop cut there just to sharpen it, but we don't necessarily have to just yet. Or we could leave it and we'll come back to it depending on how things goes. So how about this area right here? Should we duplicate this? P to separate. Carry this area back. Carry this area down. Carry it back once again. Carry all of this back. And adjust this like that. Some minor adjustments. Let's carry this one up like this. And we can probably start thinking about the side skirt around this area. We can separate this right there. We can join those. We can join those. We can merge those. Merge those. And, well, actually, I'd like to merge based on the wheelbase. So merge at last. Keep in mind, those vertices were the wheelbase is, so we'll merge at last. And we'll merge at last. So this area is quite extruded. It's basically this area right here. Fill those areas. Fill these areas. Dissolve this vertice. Fill those areas right there. Carry these areas down. Carry these areas up like this. Carry these areas down again like this. Carry these areas down again like that. So yes, these areas are quite protruded out. but there's a crucial area around here. So you can see right there, right around there. There's a bit of a gap within there. So that's right around there actually. And it's edged in like this. Probably add another one right there, edge this in like that. And carry this one in as well. And this area as well. So these ones need to be edged out like that. Probably these areas as well, like this. Flatten this on the x-axis. Flatten this on the x-axis again. Edge this one out. Flatten this on the x-axis. Flatten this on the x-axis. These also should probably be like, well, let's yep, this entire area right there needs to be flat as well. On active element on the x-axis like this. And this area I feel like we need to edge this area out as well. Edge it out once again like this. Flatten this on the z-axis like that. Probably rotate this once again like this. Probably add a loop cut around there. And as for this area, might as well refill those areas right there. Could do it in one swoop like this, but in case you haven't noticed, it edges in and then it edges in some more. So there's levels to this shit. So flatten this right there. Edge this one out like that. As for these ones, probably carry this in like this. Then there's a curvature right there. Okay, you know what? As for this, let's get those areas filled. That area right there. Let's carry this one down slightly. So what I'm starting to notice is that there's another loop right around there. Flatten this on the x-axis like that. But crucially, it's edged in a little bit more like this. It's basically this group right here. Let's dissolve that for a moment. Even this area, might have to do most of this off screen because like I said, it would take so damn long. Gonna add a loop right there. And we're gonna fill this area right there. We're gonna carry it down slightly, carry it down a bit more. Probably join those. Well, it needs to go up actually. That is the idea right there. Is that this area needs to conform and go up. Now join those right there. Flatten this on the Y. Flatten this on the Y once again. Flatten this on the Y. Probably need to join those and dissolve this area right here. Let's see what would happen if we experimented and did that. Probably got to adjust this area right there. Join those. Let's see. Do we need to flatten this on the x-axis? Perhaps. Dissolve this area. Do we need to dissolve that area? Probably temporarily. And this area obviously protrudes in. Kind of like this. Kind of like that. But as you can see, it will take some more work. And this is where, if you're really good at hard surface modeling, I tell you, your skills would show in moments like this. If you're like me, who is still learning, crucially, let's join a vertex here right there. Add another one right there and join those. Probably join those ones. Yeah, if you're like me and you're still learning, you know how shit goes. Oh yeah, that's a good point right there. Is if this is too much, if it's just not like working, can always do that. And surprisingly, it does improve it a little bit. But this right here is a bit more, it's not straight. This right here is not straight. So if we were to dissolve this, we'd have to do this essentially. Alright, we'll adjust these as well like this. Let's flatten this on the z-axis. Let's adjust this. Well, don't want to adjust it too much actually. How much can we adjust this one? A little bit. Let's dissolve this vertex for a moment. Let's add one right there. And let's join those. We could merge these. Leave one around there. Although I don't think we need that. I'm just merely curious. I'm going to add a loop cut around there. Like this. That's pretty good. Add a loop cut around there. This area needs some work. Kind of like this area. Like we did an okay job over here. As you can see, it still needs some work. Like some of this is just a little bit too. Can you see that? The issues that it creates right there? If we left it like this, it actually doesn't look too bad. What if we were to flatten this? Edge it out slightly. I don't know. Rotate it on the Y, perhaps. I don't know about this one either. That's a little bit too much Fast and Furious right there. What if we just did that? That's just crazy. Or we can flatten this on active element and rotate it once again on active element. Scale it up on the z-axis. Doesn't fix it, does it? Maybe we ought to add a loop cut right there. Does look a little bit better, but it won't solve the entire problem. I must make that clear. But we're on the right track. It just needs some adjustments, particularly off screen. You know, when you have more time, you can work on it to refine it and refine it and refine it. It's definitely looking better than the first M2 that I did, which is also why I'm happy to make these tutorials again, because it promotes the larger course, but also it improves on what I've already taught people, and now you get this for free if you've never bought the course. And if you want, you could buy the course. It's good, but I feel like this needs to be flat, like this.